Listen, Mary, I came to you in a good way, with kindness, so to speak, and you turn your nose up at me. Where have you ever seen such a thing, when you're allowed to live for free?" Deborah spoke loudly, emphasizing the word free, and raising her finger for emphasis. "And why such generosity?" Mary asked. "Well, you know, the apartment is empty. We still have to pay for utilities, unnecessary expenses. We don't want to let strangers in, and we don't want to sell it either. Let the grandchildren have it. So we thought and decided to let your son and daughter-in-law live there." Deborah, Mary's cousin, had never been known for her generosity, believing that poor relatives only brought troubles. Let them make their own way, she thought. Deborah lived well herself, comfortably off. When Mary's son brought a daughter-in-law into their house, everything seemed fine, but they were cramped in a small 2-bedroom apartment. It was impossible for the 3 of them to fit in the 9-square-metre kitchen. "Oh, Deborah, thank you, of course, for your generous offer, but it's not for me to decide. Let the children think for themselves how they'd like it," Mary said. "What will your children think? They moved in with you. They don't think about anything. Besides, you know how hard it is to buy a place to live now. Everything is costly," said Deborah. "Well, why don't think about anything? They are working. They are saving money for the down payment," Mary said, as if justifying herself. "Well, I don't know, but how much will they save? And if the daughter-in-law decides to have a baby, then how will you be living in your place?" argued Deborah. "And my apartment is empty. It's only 1 bedroom, but still more spacious, and they can live there as long as they want. In general, think about it. And I'm going. Call me later when you've thought about it," Deborah persuaded. In the evening, the household gathered around a small table, and Mary told the children about Aunt Deborah's proposal. "And why is Auntie so generous?" the son asked in surprise. "I don't know," Mary answered. "I guess something changed in her soul." The young couple thought about it and decided to accept. The offer was really tempting. But when they moved into the apartment, everyone immediately realized it was in complete ruin. "It's impossible to live here," Ian said disappointedly. "Well, you're like a prince. You want everything ready-made and on a silver platter?" His Aunt Deborah was indignant. "Do you have hands? Clean it up and live as long as you want. We're letting you stay here for a long time free of charge. And you, ungrateful ones, are still being capricious." Tempted by the prospect of long-term accommodation, they began the work. They spackled, painted, wallpapered, changed plumbing, faucets, and even switches and sockets. They bought some furniture, spending everything they had saved for the down payment. Renovations aren't cheap. In addition, it took a month of hard work in the evenings and all weekends. A month later, they moved in. At the housewarming party, Auntie came, clucked her tongue, praised them. "How handy you are! I didn't even expect it," and left. And the young couple began to live separately, without bothering anyone. They moved in just before winter and celebrated all the holidays together. It was romantic. The relatives really didn't bother them for a while. But at the beginning of summer, the aunt came, opened the door with her own key, entered the apartment and said, sitting down on their sofa, "Well, my dears, here's the deal. We need money urgently. We've decided to sell the apartment. So pack your things and quickly vacate our apartment." The young couple was shocked. "Why are you surprised? You lived for free and that's fine. How much more can you expect?" The aunt squinted her eyes. "But we've renovated your place. We've spent so much money." Ian was indignant. "Well, we didn't charge you for the apartment either. You've been living here for almost a year, and you've already paid off your repairs," the aunt said snidely. "All right," Ian said angrily. "If that's how you do things, we'll move out. No problem." "And when?" The aunt asked immediately. "In the next few days, don't worry," Ian said. The aunt left. Ian changed the locks first, then they moved all their things out, and then they removed all their plumbing, methodically stripped wallpaper, chandelier, switches and sockets. The apartment was left just as bare as before. "What's the point of tearing it all off?" asked a frustrated Mary. "To make us feel better," said Ian. "We'll know that at least our gullibility and stupidity isn't being taken advantage of."